Hello everybody and welcome to the tutorial / review of what we did last week, which was putting fabric to our characters. So let's get started off here. I'm at my home computer, so it's going to be a little bit different, but you're basically going to go into your intern folder and you'll find one of two things. Either you'll find a wisdom folder with these two files in it, Mahlaba images 00 and Mahlaba images 1. Or you'll just see these two Mahlaba images. So we're going to go ahead and open those images, which I've already done. Yes, we can see. Mahlaba images 0 is just a reference, so you can see sort of what size I want the faces on the fabric to be, etc., etc. So you can always refer back to that, but you can place the faces wherever you want on the body. So I'm going to minimize that. And then Mahlaba images 1 actually has the fabric on it. Now if you go over to your layers to the right, there's a layer called suit fabric, but right now it's hidden. So hit that empty box so that the eye returns, and then we'll see suit fabric, and that's the file we would like to use. Before we continue any further, we have to open the image we're actually going to be adding fabric to. So many of you have folders just like this, Abby Final, etc., etc. I'm going to open one of Abby's images, which I've already done. So now you can see that we have Abby's image and the suit fabric. First step is to select the suit fabric image. Go over to the suit fabric layer. Click on it and drag it to this to the image you're working on. Drop it. Okay, now I just dropped it, and you might notice that it is a little bit too big. So what you're going to do is hold Command and press the hyphen or dash symbol to minimize the window. Minimize it nice and small. Go to the corner of that window and drag it so that the window is large. Next step is to hold Command and press T, as in transform. And you'll get a bounding box like this. You're going to hold Shift down. So hold Shift, go to the corner of that bounding box and slide it in so that it's smaller. See how that looks, and then slide the fabric over top of your image. Press Enter. It's transforming. We're just going to give it a minute. Okay, that took longer than it was supposed to, but you will then notice that your suit fabric layer is over top of your drawing layer. So go ahead and drag that layer below your drawing, and your drawing will be on top. Now, we can't see anything from this angle, so press Command 0 to get back to fit to screen. And I'm going to change the view by pressing F. Now you can see a little bit better here. We have our drawing, and our fabric. Make sure you have the V tool selected. The move tool, so you can press V or go over here in your toolbox and select the first tool. And move the fabric layer around to place the heads where you'd like them to be. So I kind of like this dragon-y thing here. I kind of like that on the head, or I like this guy to be on the head. That's pretty cool. So find where you want the fabric to be, and leave it at that. Go ahead and hide that layer by pressing the I and select your drawing layer. Next step is to select the wand tool by pressing W or going to your third option in your toolbox. Make sure it's the polygonal lasso tool. Oh, sorry, wand tool, wand tool. Fourth in your box. Make sure it's the magic wand. Hold down Shift while you're doing this and select areas where you know there aren't openings. So I'm selecting the head, you know, maybe get a toe in there, maybe a shoulder. Okay, now when I select the arm, you'll see, oh my gosh, everything is selected. In order to select the stuff you had before, but to deselect all this other stuff, hold Command, Option, and then hit Z. That'll move you backwards, and you'll be back there. Now, the reason why all that stuff was selected is because there's an opening somewhere. My guess is right here. So we'll go back to that later, but select any areas where you know that opening's not going to be an issue. And that's about it for now. Go back to your suit fabric layer, unhide it by pressing the I. Now, you're going to hold Control and click the image. You will get this submenu. We're going to select Layer via Copy. So we do that. Let's turn off our suit fabric layer again. And you'll see, we now have this layer of fabric, which looks pretty cool. There are some parts missing, but here are other ways that you can address, you know, an area with an opening, or just make sure you get all the fabric you need. So, select your suit fabric layer, but leave it hidden. You're next going to select the lasso tool by pressing L. Make sure you have the polygonal lasso tool. You can also get it in your toolbox over here to the left by, it's the third option. But this basically lets you plot a bunch of points to make a shape. And then the shape that you make will be selected. So I'm going to do a rough tracing of the leg by just boop, 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 putting some points where I see fit, trying to do it along the black so that the fabric goes beyond, well, just goes exactly where it needs to go. So I have that, and I feel good about that. When you finish, you can either connect it to the point where it began, and you'll get a little tiny circle, or just press Enter when you're finished drawing your shape. I'm going to turn my fabric back on, and once again, I'm going to hold Control and click the image to get my submenu, Layer via Copy, turn off my suit fabric, and you'll see layer 3 is now the layer that I just created. That's great. That looks pretty good. If you don't feel like plotting points, another thing you can do is close all the holes in the drawing. So select your drawing layer, press B, or select the brush tool over here. Make sure it's black. So we're black. And if you want to adjust the size of your brush, you can hold Control and click the image. This will come up. Make sure you have this second bold circle box selected. And then you can play with the size. Like if I made it like that, that's big, that's too big. I want it more like this size. All right, good. So I think the opening in this guy is right here. So lightly, I'm going to go and close that, try to blend it in. Now I'm going to select my wand tool again by pressing W. And let's see what happens when I hit the arm. Now look at that. That's great. I have all that stuff selected. Going to hold Shift and select this area here. Looking good. Going to go back to my suit fabric layer. Hit my suit fabric layer and make it visible again. Again, hold Control, click on the image, Layer via Copy. Boom, boom. Turn off my suit fabric. And look at that. We're almost there. Okay. So that's cool. Another thing you can do is, we still have a few spaces left. And you might notice that around some of these some of these lines, is extra space. So I can still see the green. I'm going to zoom in a little bit. So you see how I can still see the green here when I zoom in. That means there's extra space that I don't want. One thing just to keep in mind, when you zoom in, if you want to move about your picture freely, you have the navigator tool here, so you can just slide it around and move anywhere on your picture to get that close detail. If you don't see your navigation window, go to Windows, and then you'll go down to Navigator and make sure there's a check next to it, and if not, click it. Then this window will appear. So, as you can see here, there's a bunch of green stuff that I don't want. I'm going to use my lasso tool again, but I'm going to make a rough sort of outline just to really address this extra stuff. And this is me getting detailed, but I still think it's worth it. And yeah, just get this stuff. There's part of the head that I didn't get. So all this stuff, I'm just going to go back, click on it, you know, get it looking nice and fresh. Enter when I'm finished. Select my suit fabric layer, unhide it, hold Control and hit the image to get my submenu. Layer via copy. Deselect, no. Layer via copy. I hit that. I turn off my suit fabric. And look at that. You see the difference? There's no little green spots, and even more of it is full. I'm going to press Apple 0 to go back to fit to screen. And we're basically finished this character. Of course, there's the toes and some minor details. If you ever create extra space, you know, if you ever have the fabric layer selected and you layer via copy or whatever, and you notice, oh my goodness, this is not the right shape, you can always press E or select eraser and erase some of the fabric, you know, and then go back and get detailed. Another thing to keep in mind is merging these layers together. So right now we have layers 2 through 6, which are all fabric layers. They shouldn't be separate layers. I'm going to bring them together by holding Command and clicking on each one of these so they're all selected. There's two ways you can merge these. You can either hold Control and click on the selected ones and select Merge Layers. So you can do that and it becomes one. Or you can press Apple E, and that's the quick command. That's Command E, sorry. Hold Command, press E, and that also merges them together. So that's basically it. Make sure you save your image and make sure that your fabric layer and your drawing layer are always separate. And that's that for now. Enjoy the rest of your week. Please have these complete by Monday when I see you again, and we'll move on to a new character and a new section of animation. There'll be some scanning, etc., etc. I'll bring snacks this time, but enjoy your weekend and your week, and I'll see you on Monday. Peace.